Hello, and welcome to your ShurLink training. In this video, we will go through the ShurLink Pro configuration screen for your Tarp. Let's start by opening your ShurLink app. Start by tapping on your Tarp Express receiver, and then tap on the Tarp name text box. Let's rename your Tarp to whatever you see fit. In our example here, we will rename this Dave's Tarp. Tap the blue Done button on your keyboard when you are finished renaming your Tarp. Right below the Tarp name, you will see the Type field. We are in the Configuration tab of our Tarp, so our example here says Tarp Express. Let's continue to work down the screen. Next, we see the Firmware Revision. This tells us what type of firmware your receiver has. This will be important to know if and when you may need to update your firmware. In our example here, we have version P42. The firmware version will always be the 2 digits behind the P. Our next section down is the button latching section. This will indicate whether there is a latching style with your express mode or if it is momentary, which means you are pressing and holding your remote buttons to operate the Tarp. To switch these from latching to momentary, simply toggle the button back and forth. Now we'll move on to the button lock section. You can enable the button locks by tapping the green button lock slider, and then you can automatically have it relock the receiver buttons by adjusting the time with the slider, from 1 minute up to 60 minutes. For those that want the buttons to be locked out always, you can enable Always Locked. The receiver buttons will not be operational until they are re-enabled from the app. In the Pairing on Open and Close section, this is where we can disallow new remotes and phones to be paired to your receivers. You can simply tap on the green slider button if you want to disable this feature. Moving on to the Stall Period section, this is how to set the threshold for the motor to shut down while opening or while closing. The higher the number, the more stall force it takes for the motor to shut down. And the lower the number, the faster the motor will shut down. The amount of time is the equivalent to the motor torque kickout threshold. In the Stop Encoder Open section, we can automatically shut the motor down at the end of the cycle prior to hitting the Tarp stops. This is only applicable if you are using the EZR remote, not the Pro. You can enable the Stop Encoder Open, then you can adjust the count for the width of your trailer. The default is 3,100, which is roughly a 96 wide trailer. Be aware, this count starts over every time the motor starts from a stop position. So this is only good when starting from a locked position under the latch plate. In the Swap Out Polarity section, you can enable this for reverse roll systems rather than changing wires on the control module or at the motor. Next is our largest section, the Diagnostics section. You will need to scroll down on the screen to read the entirety of this portion. In this section, you will be able to see the battery voltage as the receiver is monitoring. This also will keep track of runtime, open and close counts, your position, and whether your stops have been set, and at what position they have been set. And lastly, the fault log is listed at the very bottom of the screen. Check for fault codes for relaying onto the ShurCo warranty department. Once you are done with the configuration screen, go to the upper left corner, tap on Done, and then Save. Note, if you make a change and prior to saving the change, you want to revert back to the defaults, you can tap the upper right corner button, Revert. This video will be available to watch again if you need to review this info at a later time. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.